Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, David Shriner-Cahn. David is the host of Smashing the Plateau podcast and another one more podcast, and together he has done at the time of this show he has done over 600 episodes, so we have a lot of wealth of knowledge to learn from in this very condensed mode in next 10 to 15 minutes. So stay focused. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, David Khan. David, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Great to be here.
I love your show. I don't know, you stolen my color pattern or I have stolen your color pattern. I have no idea. So we both I like the Smashing the Plateau and going solo. And my shirt is the same background color and this whole banner thing. Everything looks the same. Looks like we have been stealing from each other's mindset.
Well, it stands out.
It stands out? Okay, great. Thank you so much. So, David, let me start with this. You are a pro podcaster. So I'm going to ask you a story. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with the Smashing the Plateau? And second podcast later.
Well, the easy answer is that it was actually like everything else in life and in business. It was a small pivot on something that we were already doing. And I think that's a major lesson that I think one should take away is breakthroughs are somebody else noticing what you've done for probably many thousands of steps and pivots.
Mm-hmm. So who inspired you? Who were with you at the time, and how you got started on
that? Sure. So I did have we had a small team working on content creation, and one of my team members at the time, Michael Shine, who actually just came out with a great new book, just released this month called Hype. It's a must read. Anyway, he suggested doing audio interviews. We had been doing text-based interviews and a blog. And he suggested we try audio interviews. So I'd never hosted a podcast before. I'd listened to them, but didn't know much about hosting them. But I said, why not? Let's try.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Then after 500 or so, you are featured in Forbes magazine, Power Up to Your Ultra Lean Business magazine, 5 entrepreneurs that will change the way you communicate. Over 600 episode of this. How do you feel after achieving all this and sharing with the world, best experiences with the guests?
Well, I feel good about the impact that we've had, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way. Part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing, we create content, is to help others solve the problems and the challenges they deal with every day, and to be able to also feature people that have achieved some kind of success, both for the purpose of helping our audience see that if somebody else can do this, they can do it too, learning some practical strategies and tips that they can employ in their own businesses and their own lives, and also featuring people who have done it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Here is someone, my dear friend. He says 600 episodes. Wow, that's very impressive. So, so somebody is acknowledging, listening it very carefully.
David. Thank you so much. It's good to hear. And just keep in mind, like I just mentioned, that achieving 600 episodes was not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
I've been a podcast host for 7 years. We've been producing shows every single week for the last 7 years. So it's just you need to have a good process, and you need to be consistent about it.
By the way, the person who is saying, the Dr. Ijaz Qureshi, he's from Toronto, good friend of mine for 25 years. He has done over 1,000 shows,
So he knows.
Yeah, he knows. Wonderful. So, David, based on from the 600 shows, I'm going to ask you a few questions. What are the top 3 missteps to avoid when you do go to the rinse and repeat and like a master the process?
Well, one of the missteps is trying to get it perfect before you actually start.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're never going to start. There's a saying in the podcasting and content creation world that if you're not embarrassed by your first episode, then you waited too long to release it.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that whatever you do, especially when you're sharing something publicly, it is you're going to discover that there were some things that you did wrong, and that's perfectly fine. But it's important to actually get started and just do it consistently. So the first step is don't wait too long, just get started. You will figure it out. Second thing I would say is um, uh, our show is all about helping consultants and coaches succeed on the business side of what they do. They're all really good at their expertise and their discipline, their subject matter knowledge.
Mhm.
What many of them lack is some basic business skills. And one of the things I've seen so many people do is they will spend a lot of time trying to create an offering before they try to sell it, and most of the time it flops. So that's not a good thing. Don't spend time creating an offering. Don't spend time agonizing over your website before you try to sell anything. And another misstep that I see, especially with consultants and coaches, is pricing their services way too low. There's a lot more value that they generally have to provide than they charge for.
Mhm. So I believe in a sell before, before you create. Looks like we both have the same methodology. So it's
Mhm.
not only the color pattern same, there's something else same too. So
And I don't know about you, but I've learned this one the hard way.
yeah, 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 no, yeah. I learned from my mentor Alex Mendosian. He says sell before you create. If you now you sold it, now it gives you the deadline to create it too, so that you don't have to like the version one will be better than version none. Basically, go with the MVP and
Exactly.
keep improving it. Great. So success has clues. That's why wonderful. So moving on to the next, I like to on our show we like to get your top three success secrets. We are so greedy. Give us your best one, top three, and I may even ask the bonus one
Uh,
later.
yeah, well, the most important one, I think, and again, our focus is on people that are selling their own knowledge,
Yeah.
um, consultants and coaches. So the most important thing is finding the intersection among several key factors. You've got to understand it and be clear on what it is you love to do the most, what it is you're most competent at doing, whom you want to serve, what they want, and what they'll pay for. And when you find the intersection of all of those things, then that is a viable business. And if you are missing a piece, either you're going to be frustrated as the service provider, or you're not going to be financially successful. So that's the first one. Second is, I think it's really important in business and in life to have a mindset of helping others, and helping others before it's clear to you what you may get in return. So as an example, here we are. You and I just met a few minutes ago on this show. You were gracious enough to invite me to be a guest. We have no idea what this may yield between you and me, um, let alone what it may yield between us and the audience. So I think always just have a mindset of there are reasons you should offer to help people when they seek help. Don't worry so much about what the outcome is going to be. Just get started on the helping journey. And then the third one I would say is something that you and I both like to do, Muhammad, which is create content. Create content. If you're somebody who is selling knowledge, creating content is a way to both share your knowledge um, and gain some reputation by doing so. And even though it may seem counterintuitive to be sharing what you're actually selling in your business, it isn't, because the reality is that the people that need it the most will learn something about how to do what you're talking about but there are pieces where they're going to need help. And so get them started on the journey by creating content, and then you can help them move further along and be more successful through some kind of paid relationship.
Yeah, wonderful. That's amazing. In fact, this last one, with people say, "Oh, I don't want to give my best content." Give your best content out. Now they know, like, and trust you already. They are your ideal customers. They have the experience of, they value you higher. You probably can end up in making a lot more than what you will be charging on the other way side, because they already pre-sold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that content creation helps you to attract your ideal clients your way instead of you chase them. It's a completely the other way around. David, you're so good. I want you to give one more bonus tip.
You want me to give a what?
One more bonus success secret.
Decide on one action that you're going to take this week. Write it down. Tell somebody you know, like, and trust what you're planning to do. Ask them if they'd be willing to speak to you again at the same time next week. And then next week, report on it. It'll ensure that you actually do it.
So we are talking about accountability partner.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, wonderful. I started a walk, 2 hour and a half walk 2 years ago, and Dr. Jaz Qureshi, who was live with us, giving us a comment. He was my accountability partner right from Toronto. So I'm in Atlanta, so it doesn't have to be in your town. I meant to say, whoever know, like, and trust. Exactly. He keep pushing me for 21 days and 30 days, and then after 2 years, I'm still walking. So.
So I guess it's working.
It works. Yeah, exactly. So that's, folks, you're watching this, it works. Really do it. Otherwise, there's no other way to make it work anyway, because we all need accountability partner. So wonderful. David, I'm going to ask a hard question, and hopefully I get the best answer from you. The hard question is, what was your single most professional failure in your life? You had it. What did you learn from that, and how did you recover from that?
Well, I'm not sure if this qualifies as a professional failure, but it was a major pivot point for me.
Yeah.
Which is, I studied engineering, and I worked as an engineer for the first few years of my professional life. And this was in my second job. I just completed 2 years of employment, got my review. It was a great review. I got a big raise, and then a month later I got fired. And the reality is that the company I worked for lost a lot of business, and they ended up having to cut like half the staff. So what I learned from that is always have a plan B, and do something where you have more control over your destiny than I was doing at the time.
Yeah. Many people can relate in last 12 months what's happening all over, in fact, all over the world. This is exactly the situation almost everywhere. So, David, the really good one. So, David, how the growth hacking secrets community, people who are watching this right now or recorded later, whenever they're watching, how they can support you?
Listen to Smashing the Plateau. We have 2 shows, Smashing the Plateau and Going Solo. Smashing the Plateau is focused on helping consultants and coaches do better in their business when they have a sustainable business. And Going Solo is for those high achieving professionals that are launching a consulting or coaching business following a late career job loss. And one of the things I've discovered is that it's job loss for well-paid, high-achieving professionals is a lot more common than most people realize. When I decided to launch the show, I discovered that many of my friends who are consultants and coaches actually started a business when their job was eliminated. And I had no idea, because people are afraid to talk about it. So I think people should talk about it. But what you can do to support me is listen to one or both shows and let me know what you like about it, what you'd like to hear. I'm always interested in feedback from listeners, so we can do a better job of providing the information that you want.
Wonderful. Smashing the Plateau, the link is on your site, on your screen right now. You can see it and spell it as much as you like. And go and watch it. I did check it out before we come on a show. It's amazing, very concise, clear. You're trying to give a value, put a good part in the universe. Thank you so much, David, for that one. Again, the smashingtheplateau.com is the website. And David, I like to ask this question to every guest, almost 99% who come on the show, because I love to improve myself, just like you were asking the feedback. So you were like a brother from another. Here's my question. What would you say to your best friend about Growth Hacking Secret Show when I'm not there?
Well, it's no secret, and I'm not sure that it's not necessarily hacking. It's actually just hard work, but focus, discipline, and perseverance. Like we talked earlier about how those of us that have created a lot of episodes, how we do it, and it's consistency. But it takes focus, discipline, and perseverance to have the consistency. Keep doing that and keep iterating in small steps, and you will see lots of improvement over a long period of time.
Yeah, wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. David, what would you say as a final word?
I would say as a final word, watch your shows, watch and listen. You have great material out there. I took a look at some of the stuff you have, some of the guests you have. I discovered we have at least one guest in common, Bob Berg, who's also a great guy and believes in helping first. That's the whole theme of everything that he's done in his career. But yeah, so final word is check out Muhammad. He has some great secrets, great tips, and you will learn a lot from his content.
Yeah, my show just got better because you are my guest now. So my final word is check the smashingtheplateau.com. Thank you so much, David, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of our Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you, Muhammad.